Okay, we're back with Nite Team 4 again. We're going to continue on to part 3 of the tutorial, and then once the tutorial is done, then we'll be able to move on to the first real-world mission. Go ahead and click on the objectives, click on the Academy. We've already done basic terminal operations, We've already done Dorito forensics, and now we're in network intrusion. And the first part of that is social engineering, and if you are completely unfamiliar with how hacking works, social engineering is when you are going after the human side of security, trying to convince somebody to give up their password. You can see there's 6 different modules in here. We might have to do this in 2 different sessions, but we'll just have to see what happens. So we'll go into social engineering first. Access certification.
So you're the new recruit that got everyone talking? Good to finally meet you. Sergeant Wheeler recommended you for the network intrusion certification, and that's my specialty. My name is Agent Patricia Conway, and I'm here to show you the ropes. Don't mind Agent Dillon if he seems a little jumpy about this certification. He's just stressed out. He's taken a shine to you and he doesn't want to see you fail. And well, not all recruits make it through this one. So be sure to pay attention so we can get you certified and calm his nerves a bit. Got it? Good. We're focusing today on simple manipulation, one of the most powerful tools for any successful operative. I'll show you what you need to do to trick your target into performing actions that compromise their own security, to get them to open infected email attachments, give their passwords to fake login screens. You know, the good stuff. Now, if you want to be smart about this, read up on the reference material I've included on the topic before you go any further. But if you're true to your reputation, you'll probably just ignore that and jump right in. Your choice. Just don't say I didn't warn you.
And once again, you can see that real-life references have been provided. Clicking on these will open up a web page to talk about the social engineering toolkit and spear phishing, different ways that hackers and security professionals get people like you and me to give up our passwords or open up vulnerabilities on our machines without even realizing it. People are one of the easiest ways to hack into a system, unfortunately.
Social engineering can play a key role in your hacking strategy. We'll start with some basic reconnaissance. Using the target's domain name, we'll crawl the web for all email addresses that we could use to launch an email phishing attack. Launch your social engineering toolkit located in your network intrusion menu. In the spear phishing attack menu, build an email database for the domain niteteam4.com using the email crawler function. Follow the mission objectives closely to complete the task.
So basically, we're going to try and find an email address on niteteam4.com that we might be able to use to attack through. So we're going to click on Start Training. Remember, we have to click on the Start Training. So we have to open up the Network Intrusion menu. And we're going to use the Social Engineering Toolkit, which is right here. And so we have a command line again, and we have to select the spear phishing attack vector. So all we have to do is type 1. And the spear phishing module allows you to craft email messages and send them to large or small number of people with attached file format malicious payloads. Now, a payload is just something that you attach to an email that hopefully the recipient will execute, which will give you access to their machine or perform some other function. So we need to build an email database to figure out who we're going to send this stuff to in the first place. The following options will help set up your email database. You can use one of the web crawlers to collect a large list of potential victims, or you can manually enter a specific email address. Well, we don't have an email address just yet, so we're going to have to use an email crawler. So we want to use niteteam4.com. 4.com. Email crawler uses Google, Bing, and many other databases to collect valid emails using the company domain name. So, like most people, your email address is probably on the internet somewhere. So I don't know what that little thing was there about. All right, so I'm guessing it worked. It kind of went off the screen a little bit because we had that, but normally it tells you email addresses that it found, but because there was a certification pop up right there at the same time, I think something happened. You can see we got 3,500 different email addresses off of Google. Back to certification. Let me finish that one.
You can also build a valid email list using a dictionary attack. This function crawls LinkedIn to gather all the target company's employees and then tests various email patterns to identify the company's naming convention. Once the initial valid email list is ready, the function adds the most common names to the database to increase your chances of success. Cool, right? This time, build your database targeting the Black Watchman. Don't forget to include the full company name, including the word "the" at the beginning. It's the details that make the agent, as they say. Do they say that? Is that a thing people say? Well, anyway, get to work.
So we're still messing around with Social Engineering Toolkit. So we're going to go back into it under Network Intrusion. Social Engineering Toolkit. This time we're going to use, all right, so we still use spear phishing. We're going to build our email database again. Only this time we're going to use a dictionary pattern. Like we've talked about before, it's just going to use common words and phrases, and in this case names, once we figure out the pattern of email addresses for the Black Watchman. So we have to enter in the Black Watchman. Remember, it's Black Watchman, not Black Watchman. Okay, so we completed that, and you can see it's running. This time we'll get to see what it does, and this time we found 4,400 different emails that we could use. Let's go back to certification.
Now that you know how to build a good email database, let's launch an attack. You've practiced loading the gun, now it's time to fire it off and see if you can hit anything. Start by building a target list against the company Sunshade Corporation. Using the set options, create a Microsoft Word document with a reverse shell payload. This will infect your target with a backdoor, and it'll show up as a Turbine C2 card. Use a sales report as your email template. Once you launch the attack, give it some time, and soon enough, hopefully, an employee will open the email and get infected. I'm not going to guide you step by step. Instead, I want you to explore the module yourself. I'm hoping the more we advance in the Academy, the more confident you'll become with your Stinger OS. During a mission with tools like the Hydra Terminal, you'll face the challenge of exploring unknown modules, especially when you're in the dark web. So might as well take the training wheels off now. Good luck.
All right, let's see if we can do this with the training wheels off. So we have to build our database against Sunshade Corporation. That's the first thing we need to do. So into Social Engineering Toolkit again. We have to do spear phishing attack vector. So we want to build an email database, and we are going to use, what do we want to use? You want to use email crawler or dictionary pattern? Let's do dictionary pattern since we have a company name, Sunshade Corp. This is a corporation and not a domain name. So testing email patterns. So F last name at whatever. So we have an email database we can use. We're going to create a file format now. And we're going to use Microsoft Word RTF buffer overflow. That's going to be our file format. That is going to be the type of file we're going to send to our potential victims. Now we need to create a payload. It's going to be a reverse shell VPN. So we will be able to have root access to the person's machine if they run it. And then we are going to craft the email template, which is going to be a sales report. So enter email subject. Guess it doesn't really matter. Sales report. Enter alias, company or individual. Oh, Sunshade Corp. All right, are you ready to launch the attack? So let's see if this works or not. Do we have to type yes? All right, there we go. So sending emails, and now we're just listening for somebody to open the email. So somebody's opened the email. People are opening the email. Let's see if anybody's actually going to open the file, which will allow us to infect it. We've sent over 500 emails. We just have to wait and see if somebody actually opens the file and gets infected. Now, obviously somebody named Leon is going to do it because the next task is called connect to Leon's computer. There's one that's moving faster than usual. There we go, file open and infected. So now we have access to Leon's computer. So just by clicking on that will give us VPN access to his computer. So pretty simple, huh? So we go back to certification. So we got that certification. So now we need to go back. So we've got social engineering. So our next certification is going to be network scanning. So let's see how this one plays out.
Okay, so next I'm going to teach you a little wayfinding. Getting inside an enemy network is just step one. You need to know what to do when you get there. There are multiple ways to map out the area, but if you're dealing with a Windows network, WMI is the go-to. The Windows Management Instrumentation is a protocol designed to help administrators connect, organize, and monitor devices on their network. And as I'm sure you know by now, what's helpful for a network admin is also useful for us. Time to see for yourself. Get digging, Agent.
Now I know it throws a lot of tools at us and different terms and stuff like that during the tutorials, but it does, just like most other games, when you get into the first campaign mission, you start building upon what you use, you build your knowledge, and then eventually you're going to realize that some of these tools you use all the time, some of them you just use every once in a while. And you can always come back and replay the certifications or just reread the certifications. A lot of times it's just what you really need to do to understand the tools you want. There's usually not a lot of penalty for failure, mainly time. So if you're having trouble in the investigation, breaking into a network or whatever, you don't really have to worry about somebody tracing back to your computer and you losing the game. You just have to keep trying until you do figure it out.
The WMI module is pretty straightforward, similar to what you encounter with the OSINT commands like sfuzzer. When you get inside a network, we can scan public paths, shared drives, and servers that broadcast to the network to learn their identity and location. Let's start by opening your Wmi Scanner Module in the Information Gathering menu and type the command netscan to grab the network information.
Alright, so we're going into another menu. Alright, so let's open up Information Gathering menu. That's this one right here. And we're going to use WMI Scanner.
Gathering module.
This module is a recon and mapping tool designed to help you discover a target's internal service and application exposed via the WMI technology. This tool is used to map out internal network and will only work if you are already connected to a VPN. So are we still connected to Leon's computer?
Turbine C2.
Yes, we are still connected to Leon's computer. We're going to go back. I wish there was a way, easier way to close that out. There it is. Just click on it again. Netscan to scan his network. Guess I have to actually be on this window. So we're scanning Leon's network. See what he's got on here. So there's the paths that are on his computer. You got ERP, Active Directory, IT mainframe timesheet, and IT support user J Valenti, C $, somebody's C drive. So let's go back and see what we get.
Each network path you find with Netscan is running a technology. We use the fingerprinting command to identify a technology signature for an external network. In the WMI module, this command is called dig. Type dig followed by a network path to see what technology is running underneath. Your objective is to find the technology IBM Watson on the Sunshade Corporation network.
Okay, so we're looking for Watson on the Sunshade Corporation network. So let's go back to Leon's computer, information gathering, WMI scanner.
Information gathering module.
We're going to net scan again, and then once we get done net scanning, then we'll do a dig to try and find this technology. Which one do we think it'll be in? Active Directory, mainframe timesheet, or the C $sign of Valenti? I think it's going to be in the mainframe, so let's try it. Dig /ERP/IT, and we are able to just do that. And that's where we were. IBM Watson was running on port 8080 on there. And we could have ran it on the other pass on there. I don't know what it would have turned up, but that's not what we were looking for. So we know that IBM Watson is running in this directory on the mainframe.
Nice! You're doing very well, but I gotta say, this last stage may be a bit difficult. You'll now combine the information gathered via the WMI scanner with the password attack module. In short, You'll start by finding the URL for Sunshade Corporation's email server. You will then use your WMI scanner to identify a valid username. This username is likely to exist on the company's mail server, payroll, intranet, etc. Following this logic, you will use the password attack module to target the user account on the mail server. Got it? Lots of steps here, so take your time. Combining information from various tools is a skill you must develop if you want to be a better agent, like yours truly.
Okay, so a lot of stuff that we have to do here. We got to launch a password attack against a user, and I think we probably know that the user's name is Jay Valenti, but we got to go back to information gathering.
Information.
We're going to run
initiated
sfuzzer -t-30. Oops. sfuzzer sunshade-corp.com -t. We're looking for a mail server. So maybe something like mail.sunshade. Well, m.sunshadecorp.com looks like it might be promising. Could be something else entirely. Maybe email sunshadecorp.com or messaging or mail sunshadecorp.com. Good. So now we have to use the WMI scanner to figure out a username, and I think we already know who the user is going to be. I think it's this Jay Valenti character. Let's go back to WMI scanner.
Information gathering module.
Remember, WMI scanner is kind of like sfuzzer, but sfuzzer is for outside and WMI is for inside. So net scan. So we're looking for a technology that has a username attached to it, hopefully. Let's see. We can see right there, Jay Valenti. Jay Valenti is going to be the username that we are looking for. So now we're going to go back to network intrusion, and we're going to launch a password attack. And our target is the URL that we're going after. That's going to be sunshadecorp.com, and the username is Jay Valenti. Ready to start? We're just doing a basic one. We're not using a hash. What did I type in wrong? Oh, mail. It needs to be mail.sunshadecorp.com. There we go. There we go. Using John the Ripper again. John the Ripper. Here we go. Trying hundreds of different passwords to try and figure out what Mr. Valenti's password is. Of course, most systems are not going to let you try so many different passwords anymore. They'll just completely lock you out. And his password is raccoon. I don't know if we're going to need it again, but I'm going to go ahead and write it down. Sorry if you can hear the big car in the background. Alright, certification granted. Alright, so good. We've completed that certification. So we've learned how to use network scanning, social engineering, and now it's time to do Active Directory. So access certification.
Notice how Agent Dylan seems a little more confident? That's because he's watching your quick progress, and so am I. Keep up the good work and you'll soon be certified. Now let me introduce you to another key network component, the Active Directory. It's a great resource by itself, but quickly becomes lethal when combined with your other Stinger OS tools. I'll let our newly emboldened Agent Dylan explain the details.
The Active Directory is another Microsoft technology, so we're going to be going after some Microsoft systems in this game, apparently.
Companies largely based on Microsoft Windows networks will centralize their employees' account information in a service called the Active Directory. It's a key component in management and operations for any large business. Therefore, it's a highly valuable asset for us. An Active Directory always has a WMI signature. You know what to do, right? Yeah, you got it. Launch a WMI scanner and hit up the Active Directory server using the dig command.
Remember, this game is getting on in years, so a lot of systems are now moving away from Active Directory, so these technologies mentioned in here might not be as relevant anymore. But of course, that's one of the things that hackers do, is they prey on companies that don't update their technologies. So we need to connect to Leon's computer again, do a net scan, and then dig the Active Directory server.
Network disconnected.
So connect to Leon's computer.
Initial connection completed.
Thanks to him opening up that sales report we sent them. So we're going to go back to Wmi Scanner,
Information gathering.
do another net scan. Once we do the net scan, then we're going to do a dig on something that has an Active Directory in it. We should see Active Directory is right there. dig/erp/active. And since it's in the current mission, we can just type in part of the name and hit tab, and it fills it in for us. So we can see that it is running when 2012 is up to date. So we might not be able to use an exploit on it unless we have something else we can do.
Great! Now that you know the location of the Active Directory server, we can connect to it. Select and copy the Active Directory path in your Wmi scanner using Control-C on your keyboard. Open the Active Directory module in the Information Gathering menu and paste the path of the server by using Control-V. Just so you know, many modules let you copy-paste key info like technology names, paths, etc. Who knew that Control-C and Control-V would be so deadly in cyber warfare?
Deadly indeed. Alright, so we're going to open the Information Gathering menu, open Active Directory, and connect to Leon's PC. Enter the Active Directory path we found from NetScan. So we need to... Can we just... Alright, so let's go up here, Active Directory, Control-C. So we need to go to Network Intrusion. Is it Information Gathering again? Active Directory. And then we're just going to Control-V. There we go. And that's going to connect us to Active Directory so that we can see what's on there. And if you've ever used Windows Registry, this kind of looks like it. There's 20 users in this directory and there's 10 shared folders altogether. No automated scripts. I don't know what that means yet. Back to certification.
In the last certification, we used information on the Wmi scanner to identify a username, then used it for a password attack on the mail server. This time around, we're going to do something similar, but with a different goal in mind. We're after the ERP, or Enterprise Resource Planning mainframe, a central server that manages critical business processes and activities. Using the Active Directory registry, find the account for the company's server administrator. Once you have the username, launch a password attack on the IT mainframe.
Okay, so just a little bit different this time around. So we're still in here. We need to figure out who the users are that is the IT admin. So here's IT. Users. B Chambers is the admin. So B Chambers, I'm just going to write that down real quick. She's the network administrator on the IT mainframe. Maybe we need to use this path there. That's probably what it is. Probably use that same. All right, so let's do that. That's probably what it is. Probably need to do this. All right, network intrusion, password attack, Control-V, and then B Chambers. I bet that's it. I bet that's it. Yes, that was it. John the Ripper.
Attack launched.
So we were there's just a little bit of confusion there about what we needed to put in the URL. But I remembered eventually. That's just part of being a professional hacker like we are, doing things over and over again.
Password successfully
After over 1,000 attempts, this password is uncrackable. Very clever. Alright, so that was that. So next we are going to learn how to use man-in-the-middle attacks. And I'm actually going to cut this into a two-parter because we've done 3 things: network scanning, social engineering, and Active Directory. Next video we'll do man-in-the-middle, aircrack, and news stream live. So thank you for watching this. I hope you're getting a better understanding of how Nite Team 4 works, and I will see you soon.